Hey guys, welcome back to the second match here with Blue-Black Control. Looks like we won the die roll. We'd love to play first. Yeah, let's take a look at our opener here. Yeah, pretty hateful start, right? We have Creeping Tar Pit, turn 1 play, that's fine. We have spreading Field of Ruins and Spreading Seas for turn 2, and we have Crucible. So if our opponent has a big mana deck, this should be a pretty good start against them. Okay, Island, Serum Vision. So this could be a lot of things. Obviously, Spreading Seas here looking pretty poor. So we want to find some form of... They could be Storm, they could be that new Living End deck, as Foretold, plus Living End. I think I'll just, use up my Spreading Seas here. I could have used it to fix my own mana, to hit future Cryptic commands. But I don't know, Field of Ruin could still be good against my opponent. Yeah. Looks like they might be that Living End deck. Not quite sure how good our matchup is here. I kind of want to just play Crucible here. I think it's a little better than a Spreading Seas. If they have Remand, then they got Remand or Mana Leak. I think both of those are fine here. Remand is fine, yeah. We had nothing better to do, honestly. So this is definitely the As Foretold deck. And again, not sure we have a great matchup against them. We don't have relics in our sideboard. We have a couple negates. Looks like they're main phasing a Street Wraith. Unlikely that they're going to As Foretold into Living End, just for that. Okay, Swamp's not a horrible draw, but here, we'll just keep up Glimmer end of turn. We don't want to walk into anything bad for us. We do have Damnations in our deck, but it's important to note that they also play Counter Magic. So unlike Blue-White Control, we can't necessarily take advantage of them tapping out or them flooding the board, because they can just counter our Damnation. So they have Cryptic Command mana here. If they want to Cryptic my Glimmer of Genius, I think that's okay. They could just also Remand it. They could do a lot of different things here. I kind of just want to get my Jace to resolve next turn. Turn target permanent to its owner's hand. Huh. That does take me off of double blue, awkwardly. Ouch. Yeah, that does it, right? Here we can just, I guess, resolve this Crucible. Play a land. And now we can keep up Spell Snare. Although, that ship has kind of sailed. Considering they could very easily just go As Foretold Living End here. Yep. Okay, Ancestral Vision is, I would say, better than Living End, in my opinion. So here we really want to hit some counter magic, maybe our Negate or Mana Leak or Cryptic Command even. Although Cryptic Command may be difficult to cast. Go ahead and fetch up a... I guess we want to get our... No, let's just get our Water Grave, because Fetid Pools in the late game could just be a redraw. Pull from Tomorrow, not great here. Not great. We could do something here. Oh, they do have 2 mana up. I think what I want to do here is play my Jace out. If they have Mana Leak, no Mana Leak. All right, so let's just go ahead and get some value off of it. Wow, okay. We're probably taking this Cryptic Command. Although there could be an argument for just the Serum Visions here, right? Actually, yeah, that seems fine to me. Gear Hulk. Yeah, I think if we're not keeping a Gear Hulk on top, I don't know what we're doing. But I actually have a stocked hand here, so I could discard this Gear Hulk, and then that way, if they want to live again next turn, then I will get a Gear Hulk back, and hopefully they overlook that. Hopefully they just slam the living end, and we go Gear Hulk. They could, they do have Bojuka Bog in their deck usually, game 1. That's fine. I guess we want to get an island here. We don't really need our black mana right now. They could start hardcasting their threats soon, which is something to keep in mind. But looks like their hand's not great. So discarding that Gear Hulk might have been a bit of a gutsy play. Okay, cycle. They're cycling a lot of stuff here. Makes me feel like they're just going for the As Foretold here, or the living end. I get to pull off a Glimmer of Genius here. Yeah. Then we get to cast it. Hopefully we can find like a Damnation plus Cryptic Command or something. I think both of these are pretty poor at this point in the game. Yep, so definitely want to find a Damnation. That would be the first order of business here. But of course they can reorder my library at this point. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 6. Yeah, so this is their turn 6. So we're obviously going to draw the worst card in our deck here. Oh, wow. So not getting a swamp there actually means we won't be able to cast Damnation. I didn't quite consider that. Did not consider that at all. So if we go Field of Ruin, yeah, actually Field of Ruin means we could Damnation. So the question is, do we want to shuffle our library? I think I'd rather just Jace here. Alright, so there is a Damnation in the pile here, which is good. It means we get to play a little bit more Magic. What? Interesting. Swamp. Usually they don't play Spell Pierce. Sure, they're cycling to get some scries going here. Makes a lot of sense. It's a shame that we had to give up our Jace here, because it's something that's on the board, its value. So it looks like they scry to the top, which is rough for us. It means they're drawing a card that they want. Question is, what do we discard here? So we obviously have a pretty loaded hand. I'm going to discard some of these lands, of course. Probably Island, Polluted Delta. Snare might be useful. I guess I could have discarded one Fatal Push into the... Yeah, I should have discarded Fatal Push, because Fatal Push is pretty bad. I'm not quite sure why they made their piles as they did before, but Yep. So the question is, how many living ends can our opponent find here? Looks like that's another living end. That's a shame. And here they almost for sure have a cryptic command or a remand or a mana leak. So game 2 we have a little bit more to fight against our opponent, but yeah, for game 1 here, this is, I would say, a losing battle for sure. All right, looks like we get to survive one more turn here, drawing a Tarpit. Not quite what we want. Question is, do we shuffle our library? We're kind of dead no matter what, and I really don't want the second best card on top of my deck. I need the best card on top of my deck right now. Damnation, Mana Leak, yeah. Do think we're dead here. I don't see them not attacking for lethal next turn, so. Our opponent gets us in game 1. Let's just save clock. Negate is great here. Dispel is great. Surgical Extraction. Collective Brutality is a maybe. Nile Spellbomb for sure. Disdainful Stroke hits Cryptic Command, and that's about it. Liliana could be good to like just uptick towards her ultimate. Same for Ashiok. Ashiok doesn't seem too bad actually. So yeah, that's a and then Scarab God. So we have a lot of stuff we might want to bring in. Let's consider what we might want to take out. Crucible. This doesn't seem like the matchup for Crucible at all. We can absolutely cut our Spreading Seas here. We can absolutely cut our Fatal Pushes. Those seem pretty bad. Search for Azcanta is fine. I want to keep all the Damnations if they pull off one of their living ends. Keeping this top end control is fine. Maybe Jace is just a little too slow on turn 4. But let's first bring in the stuff that definitely comes in. And how much space we have to play around with. We have 2 spaces here. I could probably cut Hero's Downfall, actually. Yeah, Hero's Downfall doesn't seem too great. So we have 3 spaces to play around with here. I like Ashiok here. And Collective Brutality is like a discard spell. Doesn't seem too bad. Scarab God, like, could be good, but it's really slow. It is a threat that never dies if resolved. But is that even something we want? So Liliana is probably not something we want. Brutality is maybe something we want. That third Brutality. And maybe Jace is something we don't want. Maybe we really just want to play the hard control role here. Okay. I don't think we're short of win cons or anything, so yeah, this hand seems great. If I can Brutality a living end away, and then I can surgical it, then our opponent would be in a pretty tough spot. Let's just go ahead and lead with Serum Visions here. Wow, those are both great cards, I think. Do I want the second surgical, though? That's a good question. Maybe not. I do think I want the Tassiger, though. Well, maybe I did want the second surgical, right? Because they still have cards that they cycle in their graveyard that we can get rid of. Yeah, maybe I wanted that second surgical. Serum Visions. Let's see how our opponent plays this out. So, a good hand for them to have here would be a redundant hand. A one that can't get picked apart easily by Brutality into Extraction. So here, to avoid getting remanded, I think I'm just going to go ahead and Brutality right now. Let's see what our opponent is playing with here. Hopefully they have a living end. If they don't, game's going to be a bit trickier, obviously. No living end. Do have some fairy macabres though. And their hand is redundant here, which means we can't really pick it apart, right? So we could take Ancestral because it combos really well with As Foretold. We could also just take the Remand because that's their interaction. So I'm going to take their Remand and pass the turn here. Again, I can't quite pick apart their hand as much as I'd like to. Let's see how, I forget how they scryed. They went bottom top, so they are drawing a card here that they do want, which is good for them. Gear Hulk, not bad. The question is, do we go Ascanta here, or do we go Tassiger? I think Ascanta is fine. Might have drawn another, Negate. Negate's really good. Negate is actually so good here. It plays so well around. Like, if I just gone for the Tassiger there, we would be in such a better position. Oh, and they hit the third land. Wow. Yep. So now we're getting pretty punished for not taking that Ancestral Vision. Oh, but they're not going for it. Wow. Okay. Obviously going to use that to my advantage, I believe. At this point, I think I will take the Fetid Pools out of my deck because I don't want to draw it. Dispel. Dispel is sweet. We know about the Fairy Macabre, so I'm just going to get rid of all this stuff in my graveyard here. At least I think this spell is sweet, right? They could very easily... Yeah, why didn't they... So we know about this. Played their Field of Ruin. So we know the full contents of their hand at the moment. Interesting that they didn't go for it last turn. I guess they didn't want to get their hand ripped apart again. Island. Okay, so we still know the full contents of their hand. Unfortunately, we can't counter Ancestral Vision. But we are in an okay position here with a Tassiger online. Field of Ruin, I guess add a blue. Guess we want to get a black mana here. Say okay. And it would be interesting if our opponent drew some good stuff here. So we know they have at least 2 creatures to put into the yard. Alright, I only have 3 lands. I was like, where's my 4th land? I swear I thought I had another land. Probably gonna go ahead and tap that because they can, it's their Field of Ruin target. Although we might get punished if we wow, okay, so they drew a lot of cyclers there. Island, Ghost Quarter. I think I'm okay with Island on top. Opponent goes down. Do lose some life here. We could Field of Ruin their Field of Ruin. Does that accomplish anything? It kind of just fixes their mana. I think I'm okay just saying go. Yep. Either they're, digging really hard for Living End, or they don't have Living End yet, or they have it already. And they're just setting up with their graveyard for it. Okay, so yeah, I guess I could have Surgical Ancestral Vision to avoid this shenanigans here, but here we get to draw an island from our deck. Our opponent goes to discard here. Hopefully they're just sitting on a bunch of counter spells that they can't make use of. Yep, there goes a Remand out of their hand. So So I think Spellbomb would be infinitely better than Surgical right now. Yeah, I mean, I'll dispel that. Does my opponent have a dispel of their own? No. They cycle. So we barely know the contents of their hand at this point. The question is, do we want to take our opportunity here while they're tapped out to Surgical Extraction something? We could, first of all, Surgical Extract and Cryptic Command. We could also hit Ancestral Vision, or we could hit one of their creatures like Striped Riverwinder, Street Wraith. There's a lot of things we could do here. It would be nice if we had some knowledge of our opponent's hand at this point. Unfortunately, we don't. So I think we'll just main phase, tap out for this Glimmer of Genius. Oh my god, what am I thinking? Ah, geez, that feels pretty bad. I guess I should have led with this because I didn't think about As Foretold on 2 here. They just, of course, they would pop that right off. Hopefully they don't have a living end here. Fairy Macabre. Oh, they targeted their own. Yep, so they had all the plays, actually. Yeah. That's rough. I totally misplayed there. Yep. Hard to imagine my opponent doesn't have a living end at this point. They've drawn nearly half their deck, and they play 4 of them. So that was just, yeah, they had Fairy Macabre the whole time. Okay, so they're going for the Field of Ruin first. I'll just get a Swamp here. Make sure I have double black for Damnation if I draw it. And they have Cryptic Command. Interesting. Interesting. Wow. So they might have a Remand in hand. Okay, another As Foretold off of their As Foretold. Search for his Canta, huh? 2, 3, 4. Do we want to play around Mana Leak? Because, like, Glimmer of Genius in the yard gives us a target for Torrential Gearhulk, but if we want to resolve the Search for his Canta... Oh, wait, that doesn't matter, actually, because it costs 2. Yeah, Remand. That's rough. Alright, so do you have Living End, opponent? That's what this is going to come down to here. I imagine that they probably do. Tolaria West, yeah. That gets them Living End. Man, this deck is resilient. It's really hard. I mean, obviously we made a couple misplays there. But now our opponent has As Foretold on 4. No. It's one of the few cards that maybe gets us out of this. If they have a counterspell here, they have a counterspell here. Yeah. And that's game. And that's As Foretold for you right there. If you've never seen that deck, it's quite powerful of a Living End variant. And the fact that they have access to blue counter spells and also spells that cost less than 3 mana, so because obviously they're not using Cascade, it makes it really difficult to beat them sometimes. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys, and stay tuned for the 3rd match here under the microscope with Blue Black Control. See you guys soon.